play yesterday, they've shown a dominating performance breaking into today's tournament, and the two first bans have been picked, Zill and Superman. What do you think about the Zill ban? It's quite unconventional in the Valiant meta.
I was going to say, it's the first Zill ban we've seen today. My only guess is it's got to be a target ban against somebody from the PowerPuffBoys there.
Quite likely. Superman is always banned. He has an over 80% ban rate in this server because of his outstanding mobility and engage potential, though Esto Dignus have picked Zaniel. An interesting pick. They probably want his global reach with his ultimate Angelic Splendor that can be bolstered by Alice and Ryoma, which they're hovering over right now.
The only problem I have with that is giving up the Malik. Malik Alice is one of my favorite combos, and I don't think it's lost yet today. If I could be wrong, but it has proven very strong.
It is very strong indeed, though. A new factor you need to consider in this meta is definitely the emergence of Teamy. Teamy, one of the best supports in the entire game, was only added to the Valiant server a couple of weeks ago, while Alice has long been the reigning support in the meta. In this game, we will see these two great supports clash against each other. Do you think that Teamy perhaps will be a good substitute with the Malik against the Alice, or would you still rather see a composition with the Malik and the Alice on the same team?
North America especially, we kind of tend to favor the Alice as a counter to the Teamy almost. Especially with the timing has to be so exact with being a bro. The Alice just provides, I think, too much issues for the Teamy. The chain hook nerf has been detrimental to Teamy, in my opinion.
Extremely detrimental. When Teamy just came out in Europe and North America, he was significantly stronger than he is now when he was released in the Valiant server. Looking at these compositions now that they have been completely rounded out, one composition is more akin, I think, to the European and North American compositions with the AD carry in the form of Lidness with the support in the form of Alice, whereas the opposing team of PowerPuffBoys is comprised mostly of strong melee heroes that have a lot of assassination potential that is emblematic of the Valiant server. Out of these two compositions, which looks the stronger when compared to each other?
I think it just depends on where they pick their fights. If Esto Dignus picks their fights in the jungle, the Lindis is going to reign supreme. But if they fight in the lane and out in the open where the Kilngroth and the Zephyrs can bounce around and in and out of the fights, they're just going to give the Ahri space to take over. So I think it's just going to come down to where they pick their fights and which team plays to their team comp stronger.
I absolutely agree. PowerPuffBoys need to find a situation where they can utilize the AoE ultimates that they have. Of course, with the shock coming in from the Malik, they can facilitate Ahri to do the damage and pick off stragglers from the side. I think that PowerPuffBoys need to find an advantageous team fight to capitalize on their unique composition in this fight.
Get ready. Minions will be deployed in 5 seconds.
So far, yeah, sorry, you go on.
I was just going to say, I always say, but it's one of my favorite things is the 30-second pause at the beginning. Just it allows for anybody with a lesser phone to catch up.
It's good how they find a workaround to even the scales.
So which composition do you prefer, the ADC or the dive comp?
Since I came from Europe, I've grown accustomed to the ADC composition since that's what I see most of the time. However, casting yesterday, I've seen how exciting games can be when you have these dive-heavy compositions that rely on champions such as Malik going in with the shock, then following up with the other assassins. So, eager to see how they utilize this, and now they're going for an engage. The aggression that we talked about that can be displayed by this team is now seen as a user more aggressive team composition to go in for the jungle steal, to go in for the dive early on and take away the resources from their opposing team.
Yeah, they took that red buff uncontested. I guess they really have to. They're still going to sit back and farm and let the Lindis get up. But I didn't see if they traded it or not. Did you notice who got the other red buff?
I don't think they traded it. I think they got the advantage.
Oh yeah, Kilgroth got it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I think this was a really wise decision by Esto Dignus, not contesting the steal. They know that they'll shine in the late game when their team composition is more cohesive. They cannot really battle these bruisers so early, therefore they have decided to let them take the red buff, but they can compensate for it later on when they have more power.
Yeah, they really just need to stay even or maybe slightly behind until the Lindis can get online.
Absolutely. In the meanwhile, PowerPuff want to find a situation to dive on a straggler, to pick up a first blood, to gain momentum, and then snowball that momentum even more and more with their assassination-heavy champion pool.
This server really
Speaking
tends
of
to...
assassination, they're jumping onto Malak. He will be the first to fall as Livness picks it up.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Zephyrs came through with a huge knock-up and just decimated everybody there. That gives them a free dragon. They blew way too much on Malik in the beginning of that fight.
Exactly. Look at the triple kill coming from the RG playing Aerie. He retaliated for the first blood. They may have gotten the first blood, but now they died. Bane will escape, though, as he got a bit too overeager in the jungle. Most importantly, the Abyssal Dragon did go to the side of PowerPuffBoys. They have the gold lead, and they will probably be able to magnify the gold lead as the game goes on, because this is quite a significant advantage.
Yeah, they needed to be slightly behind, not 2,000 and a couple levels at this point as well. Zephyrs is already 6, Alice is only 3, as Ryoma just gets blown up. Woo!
Here. It's interesting how the first team fight of the game unfolded. Even though the first blood was picked up by Esto Dignus, PowerPuffBoys noticed that left the carries of their team vulnerable, and they just collapsed onto them and picked up 4 kills, which allowed them to follow up with the Abyssal Dragon and gain an even larger gold lead.
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted the Mallet to die.
Yeah, it was quite shocking. I let the bad pun slide. His ultimate is named Shock, just to clarify. I'm horrible, I know.
This death bush is looking rather dangerous here.
It is. They know they can be a dominating presence. They can zone away their enemies because they have the gold lead, they have more items, they have more levels, etc.
And they can be extra aggressive now, especially the Teamies 4 being a bro. Can rescue anybody that stepped maybe a little too far.
And that ultimate is especially good with these high-risk, high-reward heroes. When you have a hero such as Zephyrus that has so much damage, it's not as dangerous to go in with Death from Above when you know you're just going to be resurrected by Teamy's ultimate. You can take more risks, you can do more damage, and you can capitalize on the risk by gaining kills.
Yeah, the other interesting part is going to be to see how the PowerPuffBoys are able to hold up late game without a true mage. Teamy is going to provide a big fight.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. The Death from Above comes in from 2P playing the Xanis. He knows he cannot 2B4, however, so he does retreat with Teamy. The second Abyssal Dragon has spawned, however.
Yeah, and Ryoma did a nice rotation onto the top lane and showed there, so Kilgroth didn't feel like he could push when Zenny ultimate. It was a nice rotation there as this dragon is getting real low.
Indeed, they do not want to give it up. They're looking for a team fight, and here it goes. He's doing damage from afar. The ultimate comes in from Malak. The shock did significant damage, but it's not enough as Aerie deals damage from the back. Now it is PowerPuffBoys who have to be on the retreat. They're losing health. The ultimate comes out from the Aerie, but she will be the next to fall. Lidness defeated one enemy, though it's not enough as Onslaught comes in to RG. He is the MVP of his team.
Oh my god, the patience there. They sat back and waited until they could get that one pick they needed on the Jinnar, or the Lindis, I'm sorry, and then they just blew that Lindis up, and that was the key to their team fight there. Ari sat in that mid bush for a good 3 or 4 seconds in the middle of a team fight and just waited.
I echo that. We need to applaud RG playing Aerie. He has 5 kills, I believe, on his team. That's 5 kills out of the 8 kills they have as a team, and he was so patient during the entire fight. He waited just for the right moment to use his ultimate RU and deal spectacular damage and decimate members of Esto Dignus, retaliating and ultimately winning out the fight for his team.
Yeah, they really need to kill this Ari. He's worth so much gold at this point.
Indeed, but things are not looking that dire for Esto Dignus. They're only at a 3.5k gold deficit, which can be mitigated in the future, but now a teamfight is unfolding.
Yeah, the PowerPuffBoys are just trying to press their advantage where they can. They know they're ahead and they can be a little more risky, especially with being a bro, and Ryoma is just not having fun.
Yeah, they're bullying him hard, and their composition allows them to do so. They have these heroes that can pressure opponents, go in with their CC, and not allow them to escape because of their mobility and the pressure which they provide.
Yeah, Ari's a nice counter to Ryoma because a lot of times with Ryoma, you just need that one extra dash to chase him down, and Ari has it.
Yeah, she
watching
has
Ari's
a lot of
been
dashes.
a lot of fun. Yeah, she's been a lot of fun to watch today. We don't get to see her much on NA.
She's a really popular pick in Europe, especially before she was nerfed. She's still seen quite frequently today.
Another dragon goes, yeah.
Yeah.
And Kilgroth again in the enemy jungle. He's been there almost the whole game.
And it's paying off. Bane is level 12. This may be a bit too overconfident from him, as he will likely drop now that he is dunked on. Tulidness picks up the kill.
Yeah, Zephy's thought about going in to save him, but thought better of it in the end. And this
It just
Malik
wasn't worth it. You win some, you lose some. They would have lost more gold if he came in to try to save his ally. Kilgroth got way too overconfident. It was time for him to die.
And don't let save your buddy syndrome get you killed.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just let your friends die and take care of your own life. What a great message coming in from this team.
Zephy's just pick up Long Genus, so he's going to be hurting even more now. It's going to combo nicely with the Ari and the Kilgroth.
And Tupe is always followed around by Baby Waifu. He knows that Baby Waifu's ultimate, being a bro, is best used on him because he deals the most damage, debatably, other than Eri. And when he has that ultimate, reviving him, he can do great things. And now he's capitalizing onto it. And he jumps into the team fight with Death from Above. And it is going to be a 4v4 fight with 2 global ultimates just waiting to come here. So far, Esto Dignus are dishing out pain. They got 2 kills for nothing, I believe. This is a great comeback for them. It did not look good for them statistically, but they compensated for it with their skill, winning out the team fight.
Yeah, Teamy just got... Alice hit 3, I think she hit all of them with her stun there. And that's not a good way to start the team fight. Ryoma saw him go into that push, and Alice just predicted. This Malik hasn't moved here in a couple of seconds. Quite unfortunate.
What a beautiful comeback from Esto Dignus. They had a significant goal deficit, but as soon as they saw an opportunity to get back into the game, they took it and then some. First they won a team fight, then they took this 4th Abyssal Dragon almost instantaneously. Now the goal deficit is almost non-existent. They're pushing down another turret into bot lane.
Yeah, as soon as they get this tower, the gold lead is going to be gone. Especially if they pick up 2 kills in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the damage coming in from the Jinnar. They're just melting away the health bars of their opponents. Even though they were behind in kills, they seem to be winning these team fights decidedly.
Going in on the Zennial, they just weren't able to combo. And Zennial's going to get away. Looks like they're going to get the mid tower here. They got the momentum in their favor, and they're looking to go.
Exactly, such a beautiful... Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, Lindis is finally coming online. How did that Ryoma live?
Look at the cohesion coming from this team. Their rotations are so synergetic. They know they can rely on their teammates. As soon as Alice hits that sunshine, drops that stun, her teammates follow up and do the damage and delete their opponents. It's very nice to see how they're mechanically unified in their gameplay.
Yeah, whoever their shot caller is says go, and the team says go, and that's how you win Arena of Valor games. Mechanical skills help you, but in the end, team play is what really separates the good teams from the best teams.
Of course, and we have to recall the statement that you made in the draft phase, saying how Alice is probably the better support because she has that AoE reach that Teamy doesn't have. Yes, Teamy does have the resurrection, but when Alice hits that AoE stun, it's so beneficial for her team. They can win team fights even if they're behind in gold, behind in resources, because they have the upper hand with the stun, and now they're looking for more kills.
Yeah, you can't miss a single stun when you're trying to kill that Ahri, though, especially if she has all of her dashes up. She's just too slippery.
Yeah, 3 dashes, that's a lot. She's the ace in the sleeves of PowerPuffBoys. Eri is still fed, even though they've been losing team fights. If Eri is able to dash around the team fight and eliminate the glass carries of Esto Dignus, they will be able to stand a chance in a fight.
Ooh,
Malik is getting caught out, though.
There. I was going to say they could trade this next dragon could be scary if the PowerPuffBoys were positioned more around the Darkslayer, but not able to make the trade.
Doing so much damage to Crow. Crow is saved by Zaniel, otherwise his fate would have been sealed. So notice how PowerPuffBoys have conceded the Abyssal Dragon. They did not even try to contest it. They know that Esto Dignus are better in team fights at this point in the game.
Yeah, if PowerPuffBoys don't get a pick immediately, then they really need to disengage the team fight and quick. Lindis's sustain is too much at this point. It does have the rank breaker and the frost cape, so she's just able to kite pretty much anybody. And as I say that, she gets picked off. Woo! That should be a
instantly deleted. Evaporated from the map, and this is the opening PowerPuffBoys need to take the Darkslayer for themselves. The Darkslayer buff will facilitate team fights, but Esto Dignus are looking for more blood. Surprisingly, they don't have one member of their team left, but they want to fight. This may be disastrous for them as PowerPuffBoys go in and collapse onto them. They're dealing damage, but Baby Wife will be the first one to fall in this team fight. Bingabro resurrects him. He's still able to do something in this team fight as Zephys jumps in, deals damage with his AoE, and unfortunately, he is defeated because Malik goes in with the shock. Ultimately, PowerPuffBoys have come out victorious.
And that's why Teamy is still considered one of the top tier supports. They slowed this hook, they shortened his stun, but anytime you can revive a hero or even yourself and waste almost all of the enemy's cooldowns, it's a huge advantage.
It is indeed, though strategically, I was perplexed by Esto Dignus' decision to contest the Darkslayer. They had their ADC dead when they engaged onto PowerPuffBoys. It was a 4v5 situation. What were they hoping was to happen? What was their plan?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think at that point you have to go for the steal, maybe sacrifice 1, maybe 2 heroes. But they didn't lose all too much in the end.
Well, the gold lead that we talked about is now back, along with the Darkslayer buff. PowerPuffBoys may go for their final push if they feel confident enough.
The thing with... They need a pick, though, to do it, right? The 2 tier 2 should fall here, but to get an inhibitor tower, they're really going to need a pick to pressure through with the Lindis and the Jinner.
It's going to be easy to pick someone up with the 703 Eri. RG, really the MVP of his team this game.
Ryoma being really aggressive there, trying to save that tower.
They have to take some risks at this point in the game. If they play it safe, they're going to lose, as PowerPuffBoys are steadily increasing their gold lead. They might want to find a fight right here. Whew. They took down the tower so quickly, they did not even need to siege it. It was just obliterated.
And the whole time Malik was on top.
Tower. Esto Dignus want to fight, though. They're not content with losing their turrets. This may prove to be disastrous for them if they die. This could be the last teamfight with a shock coming in from the Malak. Look at this AoE damage unfolding from the side of PowerPuffBoys, so they may have gotten a bit too complacent as Lidness does damage from the back and retaliates for the engage.
And like you said, they had the Slayer. Kilgroth even has Ancestral Glory he didn't even use. They're fairly ahead now, 8,000 gold with all but one tower remaining. Dignus really needs to say a prayer and turtle for quite some time at this point. Because their window for winning is very small, if any at all.
Yeah, it's really telling how Kilgroth did not even use the Ancestral Glory in the previous team fight because he knew he did not need to win it, right? Even though they lost 2 members in the previous team fight, they got 2 high ground towers, and getting 2 high ground towers is more than enough for them to cement their advantage, to have the super minions sieging the base from 2 sides. They can push the envelope now and just find the right team fight to finish this game off. And Esto Dignus need to mount a miracle to get back in this game.
Yeah, there's no rush at this point. Zephy's went back, cleared his jungle just for fun. Finish off that last item. Maybe sell his boots and get an Ancestral Glory for himself here. But that tower does not have much health left at all.
Exactly. They only need to slightly touch it and it'll crumble.
And they're just going to slow play this. Get all the waves even. Prep everything.
They can even wait for the second Dark Slayer to get the buff, to play it safe.
Yeah, this being a loser, this drops down to the loser's bracket, and that's always a tough road back in. So,
though Bane is not that patient, he went in almost 1v5 over there, wanted to start a fight, engage, show his dominance, just display his skill so that his opponents know they can't possibly engage onto his team. Speaking of engagements, the shot comes in from the Malak and his teams follow suits. PL is doing damage from afar, but Alice picks up the first blood as she shows who the superior support is with the Sunshine, picking up the first kill. It's not going to be enough to save Esto Dignus as the rest of PowerPuffBoys completely annihilate Esto Dignus, and now it's just a matter of time before they take the base.
Yeah, Lindis came back, but it didn't even matter. Alice is the only one alive to now defend against 3 waves all crashing at the exact same time. I just don't think it's in her.
Granted, it would be really impressive if Alice was able to 1v3 people in the late game, wouldn't it? That would be a highlight. I would like to see that.
I think, like you said, the MVP has to be the Ahri. All over the map. Farming like an animal.
Exactly. 806. Only 2 kills in the entirety of PowerPuffBoys were not assisted by RG playing Yeri.
And that's from your sideliner too. It's not like he was in the middle, able to rotate very easily.
Well, when you play Eri, it is a bit easier to rotate because of your dashes.
Yeah, it's true.
So you are right. We need to commend RG for his incredible skill.